So you're going to be lying on your backs today. If you need a pillow or any extra support for your comfort, please speak now or later. My rigid rules. The rigid rules of Feldenkrais.
I just want to lay down all day.
So laying there, what is enjoyable? What can you appreciate about your physical experience right now in this moment?
It's like all the weight is off of me. It's just free and comfortable.
Not working against gravity. You're free, you're comfortable. And then focus in on places. What can you appreciate? I grew up with what we call athletic thighs, which is the positive way of saying fat thighs. And I've spent considerable time over the last few years really appreciating my legs. And guess what? When I look in the mirror, I see beautiful legs now. So laying there, what can you appreciate about your physical experience? The strength of parts of your body, the softness. What parts of you can easily relax and surrender to the support of the floor. Feeling your ribs lift and lower to the effortless rhythm of your inspirations and expirations. And have a sense of the back of your shoulder blades on the floor, the right side and the left side. And gently stretch both of your arms out to the side. And make a soft fist. Not a tight fist, but a soft fist. And just roll your arms and your fists downward and bring them back to the middle. Or the neutral. Roll them down and back. And just notice, where's the limit? As you roll them downward towards the floor, what stops you from rolling farther? If you were going to roll them past the easy place, what would you have to strain or work? Just down. And then down. And where does the movement come from? And then just a few times, as you roll your arms down, lift your head up a little bit. And as you bring them back to neutral, lower your head back down. Just notice, is there any connection in what happens when you lift your head and roll your arms simultaneously? Now, there are a couple different ways that people lift their heads. So notice which category you fall in. There's probably more than two, but in general, some people lift their heads and keep their face somewhat parallel with the ceiling, while other people lift their heads and sort of tuck their chin down towards their chest. So try both while rolling your arms down. A couple times really tucking your chin down towards your chest so that your face tilts. And a couple times just trying lifting your whole head straight up to the ceiling. And decide which one requires less effort. Which one is kinder to your body and your experience. And then a couple more times separate it out where you lift your head first, roll your fists down, leave them down while lowering your head, and then roll them back up. Do your fists roll any farther down towards the floor or back when you lift your head with them? Is there a different sense of movement in your shoulders and shoulder blades? And then rest. Let your arms down to your side. And just feel yourself resting here after this first set of a very few movements. And notice, are your shoulders tired? Is your neck tired? Did you do too much? If there's one thing I hope you'll learn, and I hope you hear me say over and over again, is that part of what we're doing in these lessons is learning to listen and take care of ourselves so that you don't keep pushing yourself past the point of comfort and putting yourself in ways of injuring, harming, or continuing the patterns of pain that some of you have come to become so familiar with. So bring your arms out to the side again. And one leg at a time, bend your knees up so your feet are standing on the floor. And gently roll your fists upward and back to neutral. Again, notice what happens in your elbows, in your shoulders, in your neck. So your full arm is still being supported by the floor, but you're just rolling so that your hands or fists begin to face towards the wall above your head. So it's just a rolling motion in the shoulder joint. Just that. It's all right. That's all. Sometimes we just want to make things more complicated than they are. We are our worst enemies and our best friends. Which one do we choose to develop? And then rest your arms and gently press through your feet to roll your pelvis up. So rolling your pelvis doesn't mean lifting it, but you're rolling it in such a way so that your lower back flattens into the ground. And then when you relax, you return the arch that arches away from the floor in your lower back. So roll your pelvis just a couple times, pressing through your feet, gently flattening your lower back, releasing the pressure through your feet, and letting your low back arch away from the floor again. And then try combining this with the movement of rolling your arms and fists up towards the wall above your head. Is there something about the movement in your pelvis that connects to your spine that is somehow congruent to the rolling of your shoulders and your arms? And then again, let's try something similar as we did when you were rolling down and lifting your head. This time, lift your pelvis, then roll your arms up, then lower your pelvis down, and then bring your arms back to neutral. And do this several times, just feeling how is this connected? How are these movements between my pelvis, which talks to my spine, which connects to my shoulders and arms? And then just combine the two so that as you lift your pelvis, you roll your arms up with it. And then as you lower your pelvis and bring your arms back, just pass right through neutral, rolling your arms down to the floor and gently lifting your head. So your pelvis lifts, your arms roll up, your pelvis lowers, your arms roll down, and your head lifts. It's almost as though if there were a string tied from your pubic bone to the tip of your nose, so that as one lowered, the other lifted, and as the other lowered, the other lifts, and your arms just go along, floating down and up, following the movement occurring through your pelvis, your spine, and your head. And then just pause for a moment and rest. Feeling now, what can you appreciate about your connection with the floor? Is anything beginning to change? Any sense of the support you're receiving from the floor? Any changes in how you hold yourself up even when given the opportunity to fully rest and relax? Are some of those old holding patterns letting go, surrendering, listening to these new and odd, hopefully interesting movements, talking to your brain so that your brain can change? And then again, if you lowered your legs down, please bend them up again. And a few times try raising your pelvis, not really raising it, but rocking your pelvis back while lowering your arms down. And then rolling your arms up while lowering your pelvis and lifting your head. So basically your arms are going in the opposite direction of what we were previously doing in relationship to the head and the pelvis. As the head lifts, the arms roll up. As the head lowers, the pelvis rolls back and the arms roll down. And which way do the eyes go? Do the eyes follow the head and the pelvis, or do they follow the arms? Chances are for most of you, as you lift your head, your eyes go down towards your pelvis, and as you lower your head, your eyes roll back up, at least to the ceiling, maybe upward above you. And are you breathing? Is your jaw soft? And then again, just pause for a moment. And roll to your side and come up to sitting. And sit either with the soles of your feet touching or close to each other. You could potentially sit cross-legged, though it's a little less symmetrical, but find a reasonably comfortable way to sit. And since now you will be having gravity work against you a little bit, it's an even greater opportunity to pay more attention to what you're feeling. And bring your arms out to the side and just play with this idea of gentle fists, rolling them down and rolling them up. And if you're not able to hold your arms completely out to the side, bring them to whatever level you can do this without creating strain or pain in yourself. And notice for yourself as your arms roll down, is the rest of your trunk more likely to want to slouch or sit tall? And as your arms roll up, are you more likely to slouch or sit tall? So see if you can just let your head, your shoulders, your pelvis roll in a way that feels congruent with the arms rolling down and the arms rolling up. And if you're not sure, try letting everything slouch as you roll your arms down. So you roll your arms down, let your pelvis roll back, drop your head down towards your chest, and do a fabulous slouch. And as you gently roll your arms up, feel your pelvis rolling forward, your chest lifting, your head lifting. And at any point, pause, rest your arms, and come back to the movement. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and pause now. Let your arms rest. Just sitting there, resting. Sometimes just sitting on the floor unsupported can be quite a challenge if it's not something you've been used to. So we won't stay here long. But one more time, bring your arms out to the side. And this time, as you roll your arms down, try sitting up tall, rolling your pelvis forward so there's more arch in your lower back and your chest lifts and your head lifts. And as you roll your arms up, so your fists and palms are rolling up towards the ceiling, the rest of your body is rolling down into a slouch. Your pelvis rolls backwards, your shoulders slump forwards, your head drops. And when you've had enough of that, just lie down on your backs again. And a couple times, put your arms out to the side and just roll them up and down and feel what that's like now compared to the beginning of the lesson. Is anything changing in just the freedom or ease of movement in your shoulders? And then pause again with your arms out to the side. Bend your knees up one at a time so your feet are resting on the floor and your knees feel well supported and well balanced. So they're not particularly wanting to fall in or fall out. You're not working real hard in your hips or your pelvis to hold them up. And then roll the right hand up while letting the left hand and arm roll down. So one arm up and the other arm down, and alternate. What's that like, rolling one up and one down? What happens through the shoulder blades, through the spine? Easier for you to do it bending your shoulder or just this, just up and down. Yeah, you don't have to bend your. So one up, the other down. There you go. And then this one down and that one up. Try that. And notice as one arm rolls up and the other down, fully supported by the floor, is there a direction your head wants to roll? Does your head naturally roll more, maybe towards the palm that's rolling up? Try that. Each time one side rolls up, just let your head roll that way a little bit. And then when you alternate, let your head roll to the other side. And if you were going to gently press through one of your feet, which foot would press to support this movement? As you roll your left arm up and you turn your head towards your left arm, Are you more likely to press and support the movement by pressing through your right foot or your left foot? Try the opposite foot. So if your head's rolling to the right, your right arm is rolling up while the left arm rolls down, try pressing through the left foot, letting the left side of your pelvis lift just a little, or just have the idea of lifting, turning your body towards the right. And as you roll the left arm up, rolling your head to face that arm that's rolling up, the right arm rolls down, and let your right foot just gently press to the floor, connecting into the right side of your pelvis. As if, but not actually doing it, but as if your whole body was going to begin to roll to that side. The side which your head is turning. Like you were reaching for something. If you were going to push through the opposite foot and roll the hand up, so let's say you're pushing through your left foot and rolling your right hand up, how would you reach just an inch further to grab the perfect flower blossoming after a spring rain? And notice, are you breathing? Are you concentrating so hard that you sort of started holding your breath or tightening somewhere? And then just pause in the middle. And then return to the same movement, rolling one arm up and the other down and feeling it through the whole of your system, all the way down to the foot that presses, connects with the pelvis, supports a subtle rotation in the spine, all the way through the tips of the opposite fingers. Can you at least imagine the connection diagonally across your body from the foot to the opposite fingers? The head rolling to face the arm that's rolling upward. And then continue the same movement through your legs, your pelvis, and your arms, but gently roll your head in the opposite direction. Rolling your head in the opposite direction while one arm rolls up. You're rolling the opposite arm down and turning your head towards the side that rolls down. And breathing. And if you get confused, sometimes it's easy to start the more natural feeling movement over again, where you push through the left foot, the left side of your pelvis lifts, your right arm rolls up, your head rolls to the right. Do that a few times, and then see if you can keep doing that through your feet, your pelvis, your arms, but take your head the opposite way. What does that do to one's nervous system? And if it's difficult, what do you do? How do you talk to yourself when facing a difficult or seemingly impossible movement? What words did you learn somewhere along the way? Do you encourage yourself? You can do it, or it's no biggie, it's just a game, we're just having fun? Or have you learned to put yourself down or have some sort of negative image of clumsiness or slowness or who knows what? Who knows what you might have heard over the years? I've come to believe that there is nothing anybody has ever said or done towards you in your life that has ever done more harm than the number of times that you have repeated it to yourself over and over and over again. It is not the one time somebody calls you clumsy or lazy or stupid, slow. It's how many times your brain picked up on that and you told it to yourself until you believed it. So rest. With that thought, what do you really know to be true about the potential of yourself your movement, your way of being in life. Strong, secure, confident, gifted, talented, beautiful, outrageous, funny. And where can you feel that living in your body? Find just one positive thing you know to be true about yourself and your being and your way of living this life, and ground it into physically feeling where that lives in your body. Does it live in your heart, your chest, your gut? When you feel your feet on the floor, is that what helps you ground into the confidence of yourself? So again, place your arms out to the side, please, and bend your knees up. And both arms together, gently roll your arms down and lift your head up. And roll your arms up and roll your pelvis back. Feeling that movement through your spine, from the tip of your head to the tips of your toes, out to your fingertips. With your breath. And then again, try taking your arms in the opposite direction of the lifting and lowering of your head and pelvis. So as your pelvis lifts, roll your arms down. And as your head lifts, roll your arms up. And if this is easy for you, if you can find a way of doing this gracefully, with full breath, with fully relaxed face, fully connected feet, then see if you can take it one step further, so that as you lift your head downward, you roll your eyes and your head upward. So your head lifts to look down as if looking towards your knees, but your arms roll up and your eyes roll up. And then your head lowers and your pelvis lifts, but your arms roll down and your eyes roll down. And it's just a game. We're just having fun.
No, I just wanted to know if you made him over the phone since you had been here before.
How light and playful can you be with this potentially challenging movement? And then let it all go. Let everything roll down together and roll up together a few times. Okay, not all go. Put it all together, congruently, and then let it all go.
The opposite way or the same way?
The same way. Let everything go congruently. So you press through your feet, your pelvis rolls back, your arms roll up, your eyes look up. Your pelvis lowers, your head lifts, your eyes look down, your arms look down. And you breathe a sigh of relief. And then you let it all go and rest. Rest it all. And you feel, where am I resting in my body now? What's more restful than it was before? What's newly restful that I wasn't aware of being restful before? And then roll to your side and come up to kneeling if you can. And if you can kneel on both feet, both knees, that's great. Or for some people it might be easier to kneel on one foot and place the other foot in front of them. And if kneeling is just not an option for you, then find a chair to sit on. Okay. So in kneeling, put your arms out to the side as far as is easy and comfortable. It might actually help with balance. And try rolling one arm up and one arm down. Just rolling. You don't need to raise them up towards the ceiling. Just turning them in their shoulder blades. And see if you can just reach just ever so gently with the arm that's rolling up. And turn to look at it. And as it rolls down, the other arm rolls up, and you turn to look at it. And you breathe. And just feel what happens through your shoulder blades, through your spine, down into your pelvis. The subtle weight shifting. Good, good. And if you need to, rest your arms for a minute. You can sit back on your heels just for a moment. Always listening. Always listening. And then again, come back up on your knees, arms out to the side as far as is comfortable. Rolling one arm up and the other arm down, and this time looking at the hand that's rolling downwards. And what's that like? Looking the opposite way. For some of you, that might feel like the more natural way. That might be what feels congruent to you. And for others of you, it will obviously be not the congruent way. So what does that mean? What does that mean to your brain, to your nervous system? And then a few more times, do whichever is easiest for you. But really let it go. Really reach with the side that you're turning towards. Really let that side reach. Like you're looking out at the most beautiful pear. And you're plucking it off the tree. Gracefully, lightly, effortlessly. And then lie on your backs again, please. And one last time, place your arms out to your side and just feel what's different now when you roll your arms down and you roll your arms up. Is there more there? Is there more to feel in the entire physical system of your body than just the fact that your shoulders are rolling in their sockets and your arms are rolling down and up? Can you feel more connections to your neck and head, down your spine, into your pelvis, to your feet? And rest. And then take your time, lightly and gently roll to sitting and up to standing. And once in standing, first just feel how your arms rest at your side, and then playing a little bit with these movements. One arm rolling down and one arm rolling up, and feeling the connection into your shoulder blades, through your spine, through your pelvis and into your feet. And in standing, eventually you can even put one foot in front of the other and the other behind, like you're swording, using swords. We call it the Errol Flynn lesson. So play with that a little bit and enjoy.